I want to bring in my next guest, 2024 Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Great to see you again, Vivek. Thanks for being here. So is the judge right here? Was this the biggest attack against free speech in our entire history?
The judge is absolutely right. And David, I was actually writing about this starting in January 2021, when along with my former Yale law professor, we were the first people to actually advance this legal theory. It was dismissed at the time, where what we said was if the government actors are using private companies to do through the back door what the government could not do through the front door, then those private companies are actually bound by the First Amendment. That bucks conventional wisdom because the First Amendment usually applies to the government. But it turns out if they're turning private companies into their pawns to be able to censor speech that's protected by the First Amendment, then that's still bound by the Constitution as well. This is the first landmark case in which a federal judge has come down on the side of that legal theory that I advanced 2 years ago, over 2.5 years ago, actually. And at that point, I think that this is a major milestone for the protection of First Amendment freedoms of every American, because the most dangerous First Amendment threat is not even the one that comes directly from the government, but one that comes from the government and is disguised to make you think that it was coming from a private company.
Well, and Vivek, there are really two parts to the censorship story. There's a part of the administration, and they may be connected, but there's also what was called by Trump and others the deep state. I mean, you had the FBI in direct contact. We still don't know the extent to which the FBI might have been leaned on by the administration to do what they did when they were talking to Twitter about censorship and stuff. So it's not only the people in the White House. There is the problem of whether other agencies might be using social media.
Absolutely. So, David, we have in this country what I call a waterfall of political accountability. The Constitution set it up such that Congress made the laws and the president and the executive branch executed them. The waterfall step number one was to the alphabet soup of the administrative state, FTC, SEC, FBI, and so on. What's happening then is they're delegating that to a new alphabet soup of FB, GOOG, BLK, the AMZN, MSFT, the new alphabet soup in the private sector. So this is what I call the woke industrial complex, a merger of private power and state administrative power that together is more powerful than what either could have accomplished on its own. And what I say, if it is state action in disguise, the Constitution still applies.
Yeah.
That's what this federal judge held. I think it is a landmark milestone for actually protecting the free speech rights of Americans across the country.
And, you know, none of the people or the organizations in that alphabet soup that you were talking about were elected. I mean, that's the point. These unelected officials are doing so much to control our lives in so many ways. I want to move on to you because you've moved up to number 3, right under Ron DeSantis in the list, because there are a lot of Republicans running. What are you doing right, and how do you get even higher?
What we've been doing, David, is if you look at the metrics of the number of campaign events we've been doing, it blows the other candidates out of the water. So I'm using the same formula that's worked for me all my life in the business world and in academics before then. Hard work pays off. So we're putting in the work. The other thing that I'm doing is just speaking honestly. My entire campaign strategy is I don't really listen to message consultants for my message. My job is to let the voters of this country know who I am and what I believe. Whether they vote for me or not is their decision. But if I know that I've let them know who I am and what I believe, then I can put my head at night on the pillow and go to sleep with peace.
Well, you know, a lot of people, forgive me for interrupting, Vivek, but a lot of people are wondering why Ron DeSantis wasn't able to make more progress in going against Donald Trump. And one of the things that have been pointed out, he didn't just focus on the economy. He's been focusing on his fight with Disney and a lot of other stuff. But had he, because Americans are so concerned about the economy right now, and President Biden is very vulnerable on this, he's only 24% say the economy is good to excellent. 76% say the economy's in fair or poor shape. And then the president's direct approval on economy, it's actually up 5 points in the past couple of weeks, but it's still only at a 38% approval, 60% disapprove. So was that DeSantis's fault, and are you going to learn from that and focus more on the economy?
Here's the lesson. This election will be won on who actually has a vision for where we are going as a country, not based on retrospective blame or boasting. It's going to be based on a vision for where we're going. and that includes economic growth. It's not just a discussion about tax cuts or tax increases versus spending cuts. It's also a question of how do we unlock GDP growth in this country itself. My vision is we unlock American energy, drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear, put people back to work by no longer paying them to stay at home, reform the U.S. Federal Reserve, restore a single mandate for the U.S. Fed, and shut down that administrative regulatory state that's a wet blanket on the U.S. economy. That's a vision where, actually, if our economy is growing, David, people tend to be more proud of a nation where they're making more money in that nation. So those are the kinds of issues I'm focused on, not focused on the past, focused on what we are running to.
Gotcha.
And so far, that's been a successful strategy in this campaign.
Stay right there. We want to hit another story with a reporter, but I want to get your reaction to it.